Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Centre Circle podcast, the home of Midlands football. Today, we're joined by two friends, Simon and Aaron. And we're talking all about Villa in the build-up to Wolves v Villa. So, where to start? I think maybe have a little talk about the last couple of weeks, Villa-wise, really.
We got 24 hours.
I'm gonna say it's going to be a long one, but from me, it's a funny one because I've been speaking to you all week, haven't I, Simon? And I said, like, from my point, I felt we weren't going to beat Leeds, but then I thought we'd beat Sheffield. So technically, we've got the same amount of points as I thought we'd have at this stage. It's just frustrating that when you go and beat Leeds with a decent performance, and rightfully so. Did we play fantastically well and create loads of chances? No, but it showed a different side of Villa in being able to sort of go and get that early goal and see it out. And, I stand by it. If Leeds were playing now, I still don't think they would have scored. But then it's that case of, and a couple of times this season where we've got to that stage where we need another win, and that's us kind of really in the thick of it, and we bottle it again. I mean,
it's inconsistency in it, and it's beginning to do my bouncing. To be fair, I'm still raging from Wednesday. I'm absolutely still raging from Wednesday. Yeah. You looked at especially after the Everton game. Everton did such a professional job on the Albion. Yeah. It was there. It was all there to see, and the stats don't lie, do they, guys? Don't lie. 9% accuracy crossing against a team that's only I think it's won twice at home.
Yeah,
it was the whole thing's just disgusting. He's got his subs wrong again. Yeah. We could talk 24 hours about it. He's got his subs wrong again. He hasn't got a plan B. I'm gonna get slated again on Aaron on Twitter, but we haven't got Dean Smith's not got a plan B, and it backs up he hasn't got a plan B. And I tell you why he's got a plan B, because when we go 1-0 down, we have nothing. He makes subs late.
Yeah.
So there's no plan B there. Deep down, inside, he got the team wrong as well, didn't he? He had to play that team because fans were saying, "Oh, Marvellous has to play," but deep down, Marvellous shouldn't play against the bottom of the league side.
That's exactly what I just said to Drew.
Can I just throw a bit of a stat at you? So
go.
Other than the Liverpool match, that it was 7-2, every single win this season we haven't conceded in.
Wow.
So that tells me exactly what you're saying. Unless we go up, we ain't going to win. So if we don't score first, we ain't going to win this season, which is worrying. And like you say about the plan A and plan B, just because he played differently in the Leeds game, that was plan A, that game. If Leeds would have scored first, we would have lost because he didn't have a plan B to back himself up. And, I was talking off camera, and I'll let Aaron speak. JJ at this stage doesn't expect to be in a team every week. So if he plays well, he doesn't think, right, I deserve to be playing again next week. But what's your thoughts, Aaron?
Yeah, so for me, I totally agree. So as I said earlier, JJ is not a player at the moment that he should be expecting to start every game. He's had a bit of a run. He's been given an opportunity. He's performed very well, but that doesn't mean that automatically he's now the first person on that team sheet in the middle of the park. For me, JJ Nakamba should not have started versus Sheffield. Completely different looking team to Leeds. Completely different setup. Completely different way of football. Different mindset going on in that club. Sheffield United are fighting for their lives. If we'd have had Louise in there or Sanson starting instead of JJ and Marvellous, we'd have probably ripped them to bits first 20, 25 minutes, because that's what we planned to do. Front foot football. That's what we should have started off doing. But we went down. And we just couldn't come back again, and everything was starting to go wrong. Passes were appalling, crossing was appalling, feed into the box was appalling. Watkins again working his arse off up top, but not getting anywhere with anything, and it was really difficult. And for me, it was just one of those games where I knew from the start, first 2-3 minutes, I thought today is going to not be our day. This is going to go against us today, and I don't know why or how that's going to happen, but it did. We shouldn't be losing to teams like Sheffield United, should we?
You bang on there, Aaron. It's like a boxing match, isn't it? We set our stall out the first 10 minutes when Marvellous and Campbell lost the ball.
Yeah.
It just gives Sheffield United a lift, doesn't it? When one of your midfielders have lost I think he lost the ball twice in the first 10 minutes.
I mean, I've got a few examples. I think Brighton at home, we absolutely battered them. We just couldn't get over the line. Burnley away, battered them first half. It should have been 4 or 5, couldn't get over the line. West Ham away, battered them, couldn't get over the line. Sheffield U that we've just played, okay, battered them with 10 men, just couldn't get over the line. There for me is a few examples of when we just needed that 3 points to just throw our name right into the thick of it, and we just is it a mentality thing, do you think?
I'm not so sure it is. I'm not so sure it is. So, you go, mate. What do you think?
I think it's it. I think it is now, mate.
Yeah,
I think it is now. Well, it shows it's got to be a mentality thing, because if you look at the games, if you're into your betting, it's brilliant. We lose one, we win one.
Yeah.
We lose one, we win one.
Yeah.
That's got to be mentality. It's got to be a mental thing, that has. And don't get me started on set pieces either. Let me just throw a couple of stats here on the set pieces, right? We are the 4th most highest team in the league for corners, right? We haven't scored from a corner this season. Yeah, we are the 4th highest on set pieces. We don't even test the keeper on set pieces. It's embarrassing.
I said this to my dad the other day, actually, and I think it was against Leeds, because I thought El Ghazi's corners were decent, and I said, bloody hell, I'm excited. I've just saw a decent corner at the Villa. How mad is that? Like, Conor Hourihane, absolute set piece specialist, can't beat the first man on a corner. Love Grealish to bits. Corners are awful. Why are our fullbacks not on it? Cash and Target's deliveries into the box are superb. Why are they not on it? You know, you look at someone like Ward-Prowse, how he whips a ball into the box. It literally just needs a touch from a Southampton player or opposition, and it could go anywhere. And that we just don't put the balls in with a proper meaning. That's me personally.
But the 3 of us are quite vocal on Twitter, and I'm telling you now, we'll get crucified because we're criticising. I keep telling people it's about here and now. Yes, we are in a good season, but the season could fizzle out very quickly if we lose Saturday and get absolutely battered. Yeah. I gave Drew a stat, Aaron. You'll like this one. Up to last night, right? Fulham had lost 11 games. We'd lost 10. That's worrying. That's worrying for me. Where are Fulham in the league?
Yeah, absolutely. And Fulham are a team that are only likely to get better, in my view. Yeah. They are showing some real fight down that bottom end. Yeah. Last night we were terribly unlucky. VAR totally went against them again. Another appalling decision from that awful technology. And they're only getting better. And if our stats are equaling or worsening than teams like Sheffield United, Fulham, Newcastle down at that bottom, we really need to start putting our finger out of our arse and doing something different, because we can't continue like this. Winning one game, losing one, winning one, losing one isn't good enough. Yeah. It's inconsistent, doesn't do anybody any favors. It doesn't do anything for the players' mentality. We come back to that. It doesn't, what we're going to do this weekend, lose, that's okay. We'll go and win next week and then we'll lose again. That doesn't work. That isn't working. So, this plan B ethos that Smith evidently doesn't have needs to be tidied up, and he needs to have a plan B, because like we just said right at the beginning, Drew, before we went live, our starting 11 is our plan A. Our starting 11 is our plan A. The tactics that come with that starting 11 is our plan of attack. That's how we're going to win football games. But there needs to be other plans in the pipeline in case people are dropping out injured or other teams are changing the way they're doing things, and it ruins the way that we've set out to come out. Yeah. So we need to have a plan B, and moving forward, Smith needs to get on board with that pretty quickly. Otherwise, his time in management at Villa won't last a long time, as we want it to, and as I hope it does for him. It won't last. With these owners, not having a plan B is gonna ultimately finish him off. Yeah. And so he needs to find a plan B. I love him, don't get me wrong. He's the answer for this club moving forward. But 2-3 years' time, if plan B still doesn't exist, it isn't gonna cut it, unfortunately.
Smith said it himself right at the beginning of his venture. He said he wants to change the formation. He wants to tweak the formation, who he plays. We're a rigid 4-3-3. Yeah. He never changes the formation. Never. We never go 2 up top, or we never change. We know teams will come to the Villa Park, don't know how to play. Teams now away from home know how to set the stall against us, because basically score first, they've won the game.
Yeah. I mean, kind of going back to Fulham, someone that I've watched all season. I know he had a bit of stick at the start of the season for that penalty that he took, but I look at Ademola Lookman at Fulham, who they've got on loan, And I think he's exactly what we need. He's young, he's English, he fits our mould in terms of he's a project. And you think to yourself, at the minute, if Jack plays, we're very predictable because everything goes through Jack. If Jack doesn't play, we spoke about this, didn't we, T? We said that we were quite excited to see what we were like without Jack, to see other people flourish, come into. I don't think anyone stepped up enough. Whereas if you kind of had Lookman and you thought, well, you know, all right, we've got Jack marked out the game, but then you've got to worry about Lookman on the other side or Watkins up front or whoever it might be that he brings in of that sort of ilk, who can beat a man, who can excite players, who can link up. I just don't think we've got anything anyone who stepped up. I'm not saying that they're not talented enough, but I just don't think anyone stepped up enough. And I think, you know, I'm watching games now and Watkins' workload, he looks absolutely on his knees at the minute.
Looks shattered. Yeah.
On his knees. And unfortunately, you know, and it's not just Villa fans, it is football fans. As soon as a striker stops scoring, questions start getting asked. And unless you understand football and understand the workload that he's doing and what he's doing off the ball is just so pivotal to the way that Villa play. You just see, he's not scoring, he's not good enough, we need somebody else in. I just think, you know, you're going to end up sort of hanging him out to dry a little bit.
Well, the thing is,
Ollie.
Yeah.
Go on, Sue.
Well, very quickly, you know yourself, Aaron, tired minds is tired body, tired legs. And that's why everything's just bouncing off him. There's nothing sticking on Watkins. And we rely, when you're playing one up front, you're relying on stuff sticking to Watkins and your midfield pushing up. But for me, Watkins has been out of sorts since the Liverpool game. It's just nothing. He needs a rest. He's knackered. He's joined from a championship to a Premiership club, which is a huge level in a short space of time. Expectations, and he's gone boom straight away. Yeah. He's got the you know, but he's just tired. It's everything's bouncing, and then he gets frustrated, and he's huffing and he's puffing. And I think he had a bit of I think he was relieved a little bit the last 20 minutes. I know what you think, Aaron, the last 20 minutes, but he went out wide. He looked a different player when he went out wide. Because he didn't have the pressure because Davies was inside.
So we were just saying this.
I've said that from some time.
Yeah, I've
been saying that for some time about Ollie.
Yeah, we don't. I don't think it would be a bad idea to bring in a big signing to be a striker and actually let Watkins go out wide right. Big wide. I mean, you know, let's hypothetically say that, you know, if the rumours are true and there is any legs in it with Tammy, you put Tammy on through the middle, who works hard. He's good in the air. He's good in our box as well on corners. He's, you know, you got Jack out left and you got Watkins on right. There's guile, there's work rate, there's goals. That to me excites me. It really does. And like you said, naturally, even when Watkins is through the middle, he does pull out wide. He does.
He looked a different player the last 10 minutes for me. He was getting at players. He didn't have to trap the ball coming up to him. He looked a little bit more relaxed to me because the pressure's a little bit off in it if you're just the wide of that free, you're a little bit off. And I thought Davies did all right when he come on, holding the ball.
He did. Yeah. He's not a goal scorer, but he certainly offers us something different. You know, there could even be an outside of the box shout for Davies starting that game, whether or not it was to bring us goals or whether it was just to boss around. You got a 38-year-old centre back playing in the middle for Sheffield United. You know, no one should be fearing that. Yes, he's got expertise, but he's leggy. He's old, man. He's nearly finished. Yeah. You know, we shouldn't be worrying about, you know, players like Phil Jagielka, for Christ's sake. Yeah. Davis was still in nappies when Phil was in his prime. Do you know what I mean? Like, we should have started out very differently to how we did. We didn't. And that cost us big time.
Yeah. What cost us, Aaron, is floaty rubbish balls. Floaty balls. Your 38-year-old centre-halves or 45-year-old centre halves like me love to have all day long because you know we're going to come. So predictable, brilliant. Bring it on.
Yeah. So this is the thing that kind of annoys me about it as well is that you know, I know what Smithy's defence would be is, you know, they were played so well against Leeds, they deserve their start, but then he played absolutely immensely against Newcastle, but come straight out just because it fit. So, you know, like you said, you can't just set up a team going, oh, their form, that's it. It's got to be against a Sheffield United team when it's going to be a tactic v defence. Who's going to be able to unlock the door for us? And, you know, I just think that there was so many, like Louise, Sanson, Barkley.
It was a game. You know, it was a game for Dougie. It was a game for Dougie on Wednesday night. Dougie should have been that middleman. Yeah, no doubt.
Okay, listen, we could, like you say, this could be a 24-hour chat. You know, But what I do want to do is I want to kind of go on and sort of and tap into kind of a bit of nostalgia, really, and let's talk best ever Villa 11. Now, mine might differ to yours, lads, because I'm a little bit younger. So do forgive me if there's some legends that I miss out that you definitely can't have without. But let's start with keeper. What you got, Aaron?
I've got two for every position because I feel like there's a shout for both. But for me, Friedel, I think in my kind of time at Villa, that, you know, when you remember a keeper and Villa doing very well at a certain time, you know, a certain period of time, Friedel was the standout keeper for us. When we signed him under O'Neill, I thought he was a difference, and he made a massive difference to us. Yes, he was on his kind of end of years time, but his expertise, his experience, his leadership was vital to us in that time. So I'd like to go with Friedel, and then I've thrown Martinez in there because I've just been so impressed. I've just been so impressed with him. You know, we've been battling around the transfer market for 4 or 5 years to look for a decent number one. Never truly found one, whether that's because of their quality or whether they've been out injured. You know, I'm gutted for Tom Heaton, but Martinez is a far better keeper. And I'm very pleased with what he's done since he's been at the club. So for me, Friedel and Martinez, yeah.
Lovely. T?
Nyland.
You know what?
Nah.
He'll go down in history for what he's done for this club, keeping us up.
that throw. What game was it? That throw he did? Was it last season?
Wolves?
Wolves. Shit, yeah, it was Wolves. Yeah.
It was Wolves.
I'll keep mine just brief. I'll just give you the name because it just speaks itself. Bosnich.
You know what? Growing up, that was the name, and I've got Friedel and Bosnich. But the reason why I haven't put Bosnich is because as a kid, I said to him, "Can I have your autograph?" I used to sit right at the front. And he walked straight past me, and I had to get bloody Gareth Southgate to sign it for me. So he's out, and Friedel's in for me.
Did Southgate have a pizza box?
He was boring back then, mate. Okay, let's move on to the right back now. Just to sort of, I should have said this at the start. It's going to be a flat 4-4-2. So I know, you know, we could go sort of 3 in the middle, but we're going to go 4-4-2. Just keep it nice and simple.
Oh, brilliant! Mine was 4-3-3.
Okay, so what you got at right back to?
Delaney. Mark Delaney. So I'll keep it brief. Mark Delaney. Yeah. Aaron.
Mark Delaney.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Mark Delaney.
There we are.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. For me, in my era, the two centre-halves picked themselves in Mellberg and Lawson, but I'm sure there's going to be a bit of debate from T on that.
I'd go God and Mellberg.
Okay. For those watching that don't know who God is, I'm sure I know in McGrath, but
yeah, McGrath. Sorry. What's he got there?
Larson and Mellberg for sure. Yeah.
Mellberg.
Two Scandinavian kings in the middle for me.
I thought I read Evo Stas on there. Was it Evo Stas he put
there? Yeah, I mean, from my point, as I say, I don't remember McGrath, but from how people speak about him, I'm gutted I didn't. But the epitome of like me growing up as a Villa fan, we just always seemed to have like we went from Hugo and Southgate to kind of Mellberg, Lawson. We just always had solid centre halves, and I just loved what Mellberg. It just, whether they loved the club or not, it looked like that absolutely lived and breathed it. I mean, I remember that picture. I think it was the last game Mellberg played, and he's doing that to the whole tent. And honestly, it's emotional to look at because I just love the bloke that much. But I mean, what's your thoughts on the lads?
Mellberg again. I mean, you've had my thoughts before on McGrath. You know, unbelievable. Mellberg. I read something yesterday where he said about Birmingham City. You know, I've just got that feeling I don't like the club.
Yeah.
Brilliant. I mean, he's a legend straight away, isn't he?
Absolutely. I just think for me, when, you know, I've gone with Mellberg because he was a firm favourite of mine, regardless of his quality. I just love the man. But for me, Martin Larsson, I thought that his I love old school centre backs. I love old school towering defenders like him. And I think, you know, that's all he ever really did for Villa was be that towering wall, that commander in the middle at the back for us. And I know he was hampered by injury, but to come into a club, you know, and within 18 months be given the captain's armband when they've had players there that have been there 9-10 years is tremendous. Yeah. So for me, Martin Larsson was a big part of that 4 years under under us. So that was great. So yeah.
Aaron, if you need a towering centre half, right, who's 45 years of age to come play for you down at Devon, I'm the man.
You're the man. I've got you, mate. I've got you. I know where you live as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about your thoughts. I always get worried when Mings sort of comes back from England and he starts doing step overs. But I think the last 4 weeks, arguably, because he's just kind of gone, no nonsense, clip the ball down the line. I'm not going to sort of take too many. I think I'm not putting him into this category before I get slated for it, but I honestly think Mings has been superb. And I think that he's kind of proved a few critics wrong. When he plays like the way he's playing alongside Konsa, who's just an absolute Rolls Royce, I honestly think, we've got two of the best centre-halves in the league at the minute when Mings is playing the way he is.
He's gone back to basics. If he goes back to basics, he's brilliant. If he starts, like you say, he's fancy step overs and that, then no. But yeah, I think he's took. I think he takes the captain role good as well.
Yeah,
I do. Right. I do.
Okay, mate. Yeah. Left back. What we got? Start with you, Aaron.
It is a favourite rather than a quality, but I loved Wilfred Boomer. Absolutely loved Boomer. I get excited about players like Boomer because he was a bit of a unit. He was a bit of a solid rock, and being a solid rock kind of guy, I
like want to get sandwiched between you and him, mate.
Yeah, no, Jesus. Absolutely. So for me, Boomer was probably my favourite left back, and then my childhood favourite would have been Jay Lloyd. God bless him. I loved Samuel. Yeah. So yeah, Boomer for me.
I remember that season when it just seemed like every game Jay Lloyd, Samuel crossed to Juan Pablo Angel, and it was just that was just who we're playing. Doesn't matter because Jay Lloyd's going to put one in for Angel. What you got, T?
Steve Staunton, guys. Honestly, what are you on?
You can tell his age. His age is coming through here, isn't it?
Jesus Christ. Yeah, it's good ways, man. Steve Staunton. You're going to get laughed at, you two, after this, honestly.
I'll put my apologies out. I'm 29, so Boomer for me as well. Boomer. Okay.
Move on.
So, as I say, flat 4-4-2. It's a bit difficult one because I know he doesn't necessarily play on the right, but I had to get him in there, and it's for obvious reasons why on the left, but for the right, it's Grealish for me.
So I'd put Grealish on the right. I'd have to because of the left.
Yeah,
very interesting. So I've gone for Ashley Young on the right.
I've gone Ashley Young on the left.
Ashley Young on the left.
So we're going to be working here with players that can probably play in a multitude of positions across that middle of the park. So I've gone Ashley Young on the right. He was incredible. Yeah. I remember watching him. Oh man, when he came in, and I have no words for him. I used to love Ashley Young, and that goal against Everton in that 3-2 victory when we came back, that dink round the defender and sprinted outside of Lescott, that was beautiful. Absolutely. I remember that now like it happened 10 minutes ago. So for me, Ashley Young.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you're talking about arguably in my time two of the best players that have played for the club in Young and Grealish. So. Yeah. That's just to kind of put it out there. That's my left and right. Grealish right, Young left. Doesn't matter which way you put
mine too. Yeah.
Doesn't matter which way you put it round for me. Are we both all in agreement on that?
Yeah.
Quality, right? Let's go midfield 2 then. I've gone Milner and Barry.
Interesting.
Milner and Barry.
I've gone because I did 4-3-3 originally. I've gone Ian Taylor and David Platt or Gareth Barry.
Okay.
And I've gone Ian Taylor and James Milner in the middle.
We'll have to get him tagged in. See, well, I want his thoughts on this, Tales. But again, I kind of caught the back end of Tales' career. Loved him, but for me, again, probably just because it was part of that sort of team with Young as well. But Milner, Barry, it just that to me was. Before now, the last good memories of Villa, that team.
It was. You're absolutely right, and and I think that's why we get this trend that the times that we're hopefully seeing now and going to be continuing to see in the coming years at Villa is very Martin O'Neill-esque. Despite the nonsense that was going on behind the scenes with Lerner, etc., wasn't quite as savvy as it is now. Then. But on the field, it was electric. Then we were a guaranteed top 6 side, if not top 4, some seasons. And we were very good, and every player that we had went on to much bigger and better things at the time. There was no player there that really stood out as a weak link. We were incredible. The worst signing we made was Habib Beye, and he was a good player at Newcastle at that time. So, for sure, mate, you're right. Anyone from that era, I think, deserves to be in any starting lineup.
We had a number of players who could take set pieces as well.
Yeah.
And you forget we had Sean Maloney, who,
it was class.
He was class in a short period of time.
Yeah,
it's a funny one, really, because again, you sort of take away Hurricane, but I said this the other day with Hurricane, he never scored a free kick where he went over the ball and it dipped in. He always, like that little shift that Grealish used to do, and he used to go round the wall almost to kind of use the wall as a block. We haven't had a set piece taker that can. But again, I watched Grealish in training. He put a clip up not long ago, and it was 10 for 10, and they were stanchion, and I'm thinking, what? Why aren't you doing it on a Saturday? But I just can't remember the last time we had someone like an Ashley Young that could just put it into an area, set piece, on the run, whichever. Great. Okay, let's move on to the front two then. And I don't know. I think I don't know whether it's quality or whether it's just a favourite of mine, but I've gone Carew and Benteke up top, and I just think, imagine them two playing together, the carnage that would have caused.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I've gone with exactly Benteke and Carew as well. I think Carlton Cole was a good shout for me at the beginning.
What? You're going to get slaved. You're going to save. Hang on, let me sit back on the chair.
No, I've gone with
the West Ham
Christian
in that is. That's the West Ham in it.
It's the West Ham in me. No, I've definitely gone with Benteke and Carew. I really enjoyed watching Marlon Harewood, believe it or not. I know he wasn't with us too long and he didn't really play that much, but I enjoyed him. Again, another big unit player, not a lot of people mess with Marlon. And a West Ham boy. But yeah, for me, Benteke and Carew, two very similar players, but players who had a lot of difference as well and were able to offer difference. So, those two up top for any team in the Premier League in their prime would be terrifying,
So you're not going to tell us Andy Gray, are you? You're not that far back, are you?
Well, I am that far back. I'm not saying that. We should have done the modern era, shouldn't we? I'd go Dean Saunders and Dwight York.
Oh, York, yeah. That was my first ever heartbreak. That was when because I remember my nan. She used to have a little garden gnome, and she painted it black for Dwight York. And when he left, she painted it back to white. She said, I can't look at that gnome and not think of Dwight York anymore. So it was the first heartbreak my family felt. He was super.
Some player.
He was super. And what a career he had as well, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, Dwight. It's just a shame of what he did, really. I mean, he's a legend, but he's not a legend.
Yeah. All right. Okay, lads. Well, there's been a bit of a controversy over the last few days, and we'll try and zip through this quickly about a bit of a combined Villa and Wolves. And listen, I apologise. It was written by a Wolves fan, so it was very, very Wolves heavy. But let's put ours together now quickly. I mean, I've got to start Martinez over Rui.
I agree.
Right back, Cash for me. Semedo's nowhere near him.
I agree.
Yeah.
For me, on current form, right now, I'm sorry, but I can't see a Wolves centre half in there. It's Mings and Konsa for me. And I think you pulled the stats up, T, that Konsa's, stats wise, he's better than any of them anyway. So for me, the back five is the best apart from Man City, and that is some achievement. So for me, the back five picks itself. That Target goes left back as well.
Nah, not Target left back, mate.
No,
because it's not. Yeah, you got to. It's about being in the Premiership. Target had a stinker last year.
Yeah. No, I get that.
He had a stinker Wednesday. I'd go there, lad.
Yeah, Johnny.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let's go in the modern day in terms of how we're playing. So let's go for 3-3 if you like. So who's your two sitters?
It's a tough one. But I think Neves needs to be in there.
I agree. So
let's chuck Neves in, and for me on form, Dougie is a Rolls Royce. To me, would be Dougie, but on form at the minute, I just can't put him in there. I
think it's the only place, Drew, where Wolves maybe comes up on top. Because in the middle of the park, because on form, and that's what I'm about, is here and now, present day, not what happened a year ago, not what's potential. Right now, I don't think there's many Villa midfielders that beat the Wolves midfielders as badly as they might be playing at the moment. So for me, Neves definitely in there. I might throw Grealish in the middle as opposed to being on the wing and put him in a top of a diamond, maybe. Okay. I don't know. T?
Yeah, Neves. Yeah.
So we'll go Neves as a first sitter. For me, I'd put Guinea in just for legs. I know he's not probably the form player, but I think, you know, of Wolves sitters and Villa's sitters at the minute, it's a toss up at the minute. So I'd go Guinea just for the legs, because even when he's not playing well, he still runs a lot. Whereas I don't think Moutinho's legs are there anymore, to be honest. So I'd go Guinea currently. And then okay, top of the diamond, what we got?
I'd go Jack.
He's got to be Jack, in it.
Yeah. I just think you lose a lot of Jack from in the diamond. So I'd say Barkley. Again, I know he's probably not in form at the minute, but I just don't think that Wolves have got an attacking midfielder. I don't think Villa, you know, I can't put JJ in there as good as I think he can be in the future. I just think the only out and out number 10 is Barkley, to be honest. And again, it's a toss up, innit?
Yeah.
Okay, wide left then.
Neto.
Yeah.
So that's where I'd put Jack. I just think he's the best in the Premier League in that position for me. So wide right.
I mean, we could put Watkins, couldn't we? There's no reason why we couldn't put Watkins, is there?
Yeah. Watkins and then Jimenez up top.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what a strike force that would be.
Okay, so we got Emmy in goal. We've got Cash, Concert, Mings, Johnny.
Yeah.
Neves and Guinea.
Yeah.
And then what we're saying in the top, in the number 10 position?
I honestly think you got to go with Jack, Drew.
So Jack in 10. So Jack 10. And you've got Neto left, Watkins right, Jimenez top.
Jimenez up top.
That's a solid team, I think.
I mean, that is a team. That is a team.
Yeah, that would excite me.
Mostly Villa as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, you know what? The thing with it is, you know, I looked at this and I thought, you know, how can you choose defense like that? You know, his defense was very Wolves heavy when they've got -9 goal difference. We've got the second best in the league behind, let's face it, robots. So, you know, Emi Martinez
might not be winning many, but we're certainly not conceding many. I think that's the thing to remember. You know.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, Cody's excellent because he's an excellent talker of the game.
Yeah,
we'll see
but
tomorrow.
Again, you know, a lot of Wolves fans are calling for him to be out of the team again. So how can he be in the combined 11? So, all right, then. So moving on to tomorrow, what's your thoughts, your predictions?
For me, I can't predict games anymore with Villa. No. I mean, if it goes on the lose, win, then we win tomorrow. I just don't know, mate. I mean, what's now? We're recording this at 11 o'clock. We should find out in a bit if Grealish is fit or not.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll be fit. I don't think we'll see him till the 21st of March.
What about Cash? Because I think that's as big a miss as Grealish.
Cash will be in.
You reckon? So that to me already changes my mind on things straight away, because we were saying off camera, if you've got Elmo against Neto,
he's going to get ripped to bits.
Yeah.
I can have egg on my face after this, but I'm pretty sure Cash will be in.
Lovely. So, what are you saying?
Yeah, I don't think a draw would be a bad result tomorrow. However many goals are scored for each. But, you know, for me, it's all about those first 10, 15 minutes. It is in the gym. It is working with people. It is in everything I do in my life. It's about the first 10, 15 minutes that you start off as. How do you want to start out? Our intention will clearly be to go on the front foot and put Wolves on the back foot as soon as possible, as quickly as possible. But if we don't do that, it can only be going one way, and that's currently how we're playing. So for me, a draw would be a good result. 0-0 would be better than conceding, mate, for sure.
Yeah, I must be honest. I think the game stinks a 0-0. I just don't think they're going to score, and I don't think we are at the minute, unless, like you say, there's a few names that do get popped in. I mean, it's frustrating because I'm just looking, including the Leeds and Sheffield United, which we got a cracking result against Leeds unexpectedly. So that to me was a bonus 3 points. Then you go and play bottom of the league, who are literally head just above water. You've got Wolves tomorrow. Let's face it, they're not the team of last year. Then you've got Newcastle after that, Tottenham, who are very indifferent. And then you've got Fulham. I think we've missed another big chance. I really do think we've missed a big chance to really mount a good push. I mean, you've got Liverpool and City after that. Then you've got Baggies, Everton, Man U and Palace. I honestly think with the way sort of teams are going back into Europa League.
Drew, Drax out.
Is he out? Just been confirmed.
Yeah. And this is what's going to happen. Smith will keep doing the old, sorry to interrupt, mate. This is what Smith will do. He'll just go, well, he's not quite fit yet. Not quite fit. And we're 3 months down the line. It's a bad injury he's got. And I can't see him being back till the 21st of March. That's so for me now, I think we'll lose Saturday.
Do you think?
Yeah. It's disappointing.
I mean, it is. It's tough. I mean, I think what makes me a little bit more resilient about the Villa is that our defence is so good. And you know, we are digging in against teams who I think are a much better attacking, like Arsenal. They've got so many more attacking options. And again, you look back at that game, we took an early lead. I don't think Arsenal looked like scoring that day. Do you know what I mean? So as long as we kind of, I don't know, just try and dig in and, like you say, get a result. I know it's not the way to look at a derby, but ultimately it's a results business. If you can mount, go and get yourself a draw and then go and look at a favourable fixture list. I mean, what's your thoughts, Aaron?
I think for us, we are, and you know, kind of the last 2-3 months has shown us this. We are a far better team setting out with a front foot impression against teams that also start off on the front foot because we're able to open them up. Mm-hmm. Teams that are parking the bus within the first 5-10 minutes because they're terrified that Villa might do something to them are the teams that we're likely to lose against. So when you read off that fixtures list, it's the lesser teams, it's the worse performing teams that scare me the most, because the bigger teams, the ones that are scoring crap loads of goals, are the ones that Villa will particularly do well against. You know, so that for me is one of the biggest issues that I have, and it doesn't seem to be tidying itself up yet.
Yeah,
you know, it's the lesser teams, Sheffield United, Brighton, Burnley, Palace, that we shouldn't be losing against. Well, we should be taking all 3 points, and convincingly so, but we're not. Because they're just parking the bus, and they're like almost Sam Allardyce-esque teams. They just park the bus with big birdie players. Yeah, ain't got a lot of quality, but they're solid, and Villa just can't break it.
I'm scared stiff for Saturday now because Cash is out as well.
You're joking?
No, so we've all gone like from having the draw to I can't see us winning Saturday, mate. Neto against the fullbacks now.
Nah, I mean, it does worry me now, I must say. I think, you like to say, I think 0-0 will be a fantastic result now.
I'm off. I can't. Yeah, I'm disappointed that Cash is out.
Yeah, I mean the fact that they were saying that he'd started training last week as well, and this is, I don't get why Villa keep doing this. Like they keep saying, oh yeah, we think it'll be next week, and we hopefully it'll be this game, and just be honest and say we think it's 3 weeks.
He'll string it out to after the international break.
Yeah, but you know, it is a difficult period. You know, every team's going to lose. You know,
well, for Wolves, it's a goal start already, isn't it, lads?
Yeah, of course it is.
Because he's told the press this morning that Jack Grealish is out and Matty Cash is out. Well, as a Wolves player, brilliant. Just get it.
Is there mind games there though, too? Is that mind games?
I don't think it's mind games, no, mate. Smith doesn't play mind games, does he? Really?
Not really.
He doesn't play mind games. I mean, Smith wound me up the other day in his press conference. He said, "Oh, we set the stall out to go and score first." Oh, come on! What did Sheffield United do Wednesday? They got straight at us.
Yeah.
Because if we don't score, we don't win.
Yeah.
He's got to be savvy. He's got to be savvy. Dean Smith, he's got to start being savvy.
Yeah.
And you're right, Aaron. Mind games.
It is difficult as well, because even like you say, again, some of the games that we have lost that we should have won, like the West Ham one. So we had a penalty, which, you know, I know it's 50-50, but you should be scoring that. And then we had that one where Watkins gets pushed into an offside position, no penalty or no goal given because his armpit's offside. Yeah. Cast your mind back to Brighton. Trez should have had a penalty when he absolutely volleyed. I think it was the left back. March absolutely volleyed Trez in the leg, no penalty, you know, and those are the sort of things that, again, 4 points would be, you know, we'd be 3 points off top 4. Do you know what I mean?
We don't do a 75, is that, Drew? It's like the Brighton game, but that many bloody chances. We're relying on VAR not to give us a penalty after having 25 chances, mate. It's just no.
I think that's the problem that we've got, is that, you know, some games we have so many chances and we should be scoring double figures in some games with the amount of chances we have.
Burnley,
and we're not
the biggest example of that.
And then other games we have no chances at all and score 1 or 2 goals. And that just can't, that doesn't work. That's not going to work moving forward. That isn't going to make us a top 4 side. You know, we need to be a team that puts away those 10 chances with 10 bloody good goals. And the games that we are performing less on and we're not as good, we're still creating a few and still scoring them. You know, that's where we've got to get to. And you know, we are probably a transfer window, if not 2 transfer windows away from that standard yet. And so, you know,
going off track a little bit then, guys. Who's your starting 11 tomorrow then? Now we know the team is. Well, we know who's not playing.
Well, I'll take straight away. I'm taking Elmo out and putting Kessler in. Just pace alone.
100%, mate. 100%.
Back 4 or 5, should I say, picks itself other than Elmo coming out and Kessler going in.
With that.
I'd go Marvellous just to get some more legs in there. And I probably would go Marvellous and Guinea. In that number 10 role, I think we are going to be up against it. So I don't know, maybe you have to put JJ back in because that's all that's what he's bringing to the party at the minute. He just runs, doesn't he?
Tomorrow's not a game for JJ. I don't think tomorrow's a game for JJ.
I think he'll play Louise.
So what do you think we got in Louise?
I think he'll play Louise, McGinn, and
Sanson. Or Barkley, maybe Ross.
I think Barkley comes back in.
I think he puts Barkley back in.
Yeah, I think he does as well. And then I think, to be honest with you, I can't remember the last time that Traore kicked the ball. So I'd probably have to go Trez, right? Give Kane Kessler a bit of protection up and down. And then left, I'm going Ghazi just because he's probably our only goal threat outside of Watkins.
I think Ghazi deserves to start again tomorrow, you know. He was probably the one of the best players on the field that second half against Sheffield. And we were poor.
This is where Smith needs, and it winds me up. This is where Smith needs to mix it up. Traore, put him either up front or just behind Watkins in that sort of number 10 role, or swap it so we have Traore up front and then Watkins just behind. Let's mix it up a little bit instead of going 4, bloody 3, and this is where he's got no plan B.
Yeah.
But Troy's stats against, for Leon, a central striker or just behind, so were phenomenal.
Yeah. But then, like you say, I bet you our prediction there isn't far off it. So if we can predict it, Nuno will know what we're going to go with. And like you say, because there's no, I wonder what Villa are going to do, or, you know, are we going to go and set up to not lose? Are we going to go and set up to go and get it at them? I mean, the thing of it is, and I've said this loads of times this season, every game I expect Villa to lose, we win. So Arsenal, that one at home the other week, I was actually moving house that day, so I thought I'm not even going to put notifications on because I don't want to ruin my day. And lo and behold, we win. Leeds, I think it was you, T. I was speaking to you like, nah, we're going to lose this one. I was like, you know what? I don't know what it is. I think then if it's the sun shining, but I just fancy us. And then equally against Sheffield, you were like, nah, easy one today. And I said, I just don't fancy us. Like you say, Aaron, it's those lesser teams that kind of have a plan to back up, you know, to just put blocks of people behind the ball. We just run out of ideas.
Yeah. Nuno's not going to let us do the double over him.
No.
I mean, the only comfort I can take is even if they win, they've not done the double over us this year. I know that's clutching a little bit, but
it's horrible because we should be doing this podcast after beating Leeds on Saturday, having a nice gritty win on Wednesday, and then going into the game confident. All of a sudden, I feel flat. I was still raging about Wednesday. And now seeing that I knew Jack was out anyway, but now seeing Cash is out as well. It's just like, and the three of us know the team. I can guarantee that Barkley will probably come back in now.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, what's your thoughts really? Because I think Elmo actually played really well against that Rafinha for Leeds.
But he didn't. Second half he did, mate.
Yeah,
First half
I agree. But then, like, you've got a similar sort of player in Neto. He's probably a little bit better in terms of he's a bit faster and he's probably got a little bit more guile, in my opinion. For me, like, you can't have a game where you're at fault for the goal, then you're playing well in the second half. You know, for me, Kessler against Liverpool, correct me if I'm wrong, but he got man of the match in that game that we lost.
Yeah, he did.
And he's playing against Mane.
Yeah.
So
I'd love to see Kessler come in
tomorrow. Because I mean,
I think he deserves a chance. I don't think there's any doubt in my mind that he wouldn't be able to give us that little bit something different that we're looking for. He's got no experience really. Yeah. He's got no maturity about him at the moment. But for me, let's forget about maturity. Let's just put a boy in there that's going to run the legs and make sure that Neto gets nowhere.
Well, if you're good enough the bench,
I think he would.
Yeah, if you're good enough the bench, you're good enough for the team.
Totally right. And you've got to be as a top 4 team. You've got to be. That's exactly the ethos that we've got to have. If you're good enough for that bench, you're good enough to start. Because every player needs to be at that level of quality whereby they can fit in at any time.
Yeah.
And so we've got to go with that mentality. So if that's not the mentality that Dean is thinking, then they shouldn't be on the bench.
I think, you know what? It's a funny one because I don't want to get too carried away because, as much as Wolves put up a decent fight against City, so did we. So do most teams. They just don't get anywhere. Teams like City are easy to get up for. They're so easy because it's City. Yeah. But you watch them the week before against Newcastle and they were dire. So it's what team, it's what you're going to get from Wolves as well. Do you know what I mean? So we Neto really, he's been good and he's their absolute, their best player. But is he consistent enough? What player is going to turn up tomorrow again? Do you know what I mean? So, I don't know. I'm just an ever optimistic about Villa. I don't think we'll lose, but I don't think we'll win either. I put it out there the other day. I think it'd be a 0-0 based on that Cash and Grealish weren't going to be playing. So I'll stick with that.
Yeah, I think the Premier League. Sorry, go on. What's your
sorry, 1-0 Wolves.
1-0 Wolves. I think 0-0, 1-1, 0-0, 1-1. I was just wanted to say as well, I think the Premier League this year particularly is a bit like a bag of rebels. You don't really know which one you're going to get, which team's going to turn up when you bite into it. You ain't got a clue. Apart from 1 or 2 teams who you can pretty much, say, who's going to turn up. I don't think you can choose. I'm with Si. I don't think you can predict a game confidently anymore.
No.
Because there's so much up and down. There's so much variance between which team's going to play and how they're going to play and what they're going to do. I just don't think you can. And Villa are one of those prime example teams. You can't predict Villa anymore. We've beaten all the best teams and we've lost to all the garbage ones.
Yeah. I mean, whoever's picking the Revel out of the bag for Villa at the minute, they're getting a lot of raisins for me. We need to turn them into the toffees at the minute.
The thing is, and I've got to establish this, right, is I'm not slating Dean Smith and I'm not slating Aston Villa Football Club. But Wednesday's performance was not good enough.
Yeah.
The stats back it up. And he's got to get his plan B. I keep going on about this plan B. He's got to get it sorted. Because if not, this season will fizzle out. And the people are saying, oh, well, mid-table is an improvement. It is an improvement, but he spent a lot of money.
Yeah.
And we could have got a lot better results.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about you, but I think it took us weeks to recover from City. When we took him to the wire, that dodgy goal, and then they scored the penalty. But it took a lot out of us, that performance, chasing them around. Wolves have just come off the back of the exact same sort of performance. Does that come into it?
No. You could have said that about when you could have said that Wednesday, couldn't you?
No, but it's City. It's a different sort of. It's not just for me. When you play as well as that, and they did play well, and they put up a decent fight and got back into the game. Mentally, to then go and lose 4-1, that takes a lot out of you. I think so.
I disagree, mate. Look at Sheffield United. There were, what was it, 3 games win? Three games they've won all season now. Yeah. They lost on a was it a Saturday night against Liverpool, right? So they should be down and out, really. But their performance levels on Wednesday, it was like a cup final for them. Yeah. They put the bodies on the line. They were unbelievable. Where we were just flat.
Yeah, we were.
So it's the way you set a team up.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, the way you set it up.
I mean, what's your thoughts? Do you think City comes into it at all, or?
I think for me, the answer to that question is, I feel like there's more of a motivation and there's more of a vibe to go away and get a win in the next game when you've been beaten by a solid team, by a good team. So like City, who are a good team. For me, I think the knock comes when you lose to teams that you probably should have beat. So for me, this is why I worry about tomorrow, because Sheffield United should have been a team we beat. You saw all the boys tweeted after the game. You could see the disappointment. You could see the transparency behind it all going, we should have won that game and we were crap. Yeah. We shouldn't have been crap. So to go out and get a win tomorrow, I think is a big ask. And I just only hope that they find something from deep within to be able to do that.
Yeah, I think it's a double-edged sword, because as much as we can sort of channel our disappointment to our next game, I think City have got to kind of mentally recover from, because it weren't a 4-1. I mean, stats would say it was, but it weren't a 4-1 loss in terms of, you know, how they played. But you've got to recover from that. And then we've got to recover from a disappointment result, a flat result. We didn't work hard enough, looked absolutely clueless in the final third. And, you know, now the disappointment of Grealish and Cash both being out as well.
Well, the other argument, it's a derby game, so you take all that out, don't you? You take all the stats out, you take all what we've been talking about into a derby game. Anybody can win at a derby game, but I just can't see it.
I just think it could be one of the worst derbies to ever play, to be honest, because I think as bad as Villa are, I think Wolves are as bad at the minute as well.
But you know what? I felt exactly the same when Big Sam was appointed for the Albion, and we put a hell of a performance on against the Albion. So it can be done, but
it's
difficult. It's difficult. I think you know, if we were drawing these games, you know, I think it, you know, and still not winning, I think it's to be a different story. But for me, it's about the fight. It's about the guts and the balls to want to win a game.
Yeah.
And I didn't see that on Wednesday. You know, and I think that for me is huge. And you have to have that in you against teams like Wolves, regardless of how well they're playing.
Yeah, definitely.
So I hope that we show that tomorrow. I hope we just bring it tomorrow.
Definitely. Like you say, I mean, it is difficult at the minute, because I think the last time I spoke to you both, it was like really positive. And, you know, it's not that we're negative now. It's just that I think it's more frustration, because we saw the way we started the season and we were fearless. We were pushing people high. And it was a case of, you come out and try and beat Villa. We're not going to set up, you know, just to match your format. You come and try and beat us. And I quite like the swagger that we had of going and doing Arsenal 3-0 at their place. And I thought, you know what, we're a proper team all of a sudden. And then, you know, as good as the first COVID break was, I think the second one for us has been detrimental, you know, our form. And, you know, again, if you're playing well, but you're losing, you think, okay, I can get it. But at the minute, we're winning and playing badly. So you just know that you're taking that performance into the next game, and just, can we get another 1-0 win at the minute? That's how I feel.
The trouble is, he's tinkering with the engine, isn't he? He's tinkering with the engine. Your engine is your midfield. He's tinkering with it. He's swapping and changing it, and people are out of form in that midfield, which is, you know, a main part of the field. So it's like he doesn't know now his best midfield.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that? He doesn't know.
Yeah.
And, you know, he's swapping and changing it, and it's just something just doesn't feel right, does it?
Yeah. I mean,
in fact, sorry, I don't know if you noticed the Sheffield United game. They were discussing, the four of them, about making subs for about 10 minutes. Did you see that? He was making. They were like, I think the BT even commented on it. We're having a deep discussion here, and it was on about 10 minutes about subs. Just make the bloody subs and let's get on with it.
I mean, I don't know if the delay that they were checking with Twitter, mate, because every single comment I saw was Sanson needs to come on, Barkley needs to come on, and then I think the final one, people, you know, throw another striker and get that. So, but I don't understand why when someone gets sent off, and we do this constantly, why when someone gets sent off against us, it takes him 10, 15 minutes to make a sub, because it was attack versus defence anyway. It was only going to get more in that favour. Get people on who can unlock this door. Instead of that, he persists with Marvellous, who's just running around. You know, he's a
I said at half time. I tweeted at half time. I said Marvellous and Marvellous and JJ had to come off, and Sanson and Barkley had to come on. And I said that at half time, and they didn't come on until what? 64th minute.
He got sent off on the 55th
20 minutes wasted. No.
You know, it's difficult. It really is. And I got to say, I think Smith's in-game management is one of the poorest in the league. I think I see some games. I mean, I'll take you back to, remember the Everton game last season where we 1-0 up? We had 3 subs left to make, and it was like 85th minute. Why not every 2 minutes make a sub? Break the game down, make it scrappy. Instead of that, he lets it run. We concede, and then he makes 3 subs. Do you know what I mean? And that side of things, where I look at Smith and go, okay, I know it's an ever-learning job, but that's basics. That is just stop the game flowing. Stop any kind of breaks. Go every time that they having a break, right? Okay, someone goes down injured, and then get a sub on. Take 30, 40 seconds to get that player on. Break the game down. And that to me is a consistency with Dean. I think that his subs are always too late.
And I think a part to play in that, Drew, is that and I'm sure T will agree with me here. Dean is a very trusting and quite an emotive man. And I think there's a lot of the time, his starting 11, he trusts them so much so that actually his Achilles heel is bringing those trusted players off for a player that maybe he doesn't have as much trust in. It doesn't mean that he doesn't like them or he doesn't rate them, but he has these bonds with players, and the trust that he has in them is to think to himself, I'll leave you on and I won't sub you off because I know and I trust you that in the next 5 minutes, you might be able to change this game for me. Whereas the other players on the bench maybe don't have that. And I think that's why we need to see more players coming into the club that Dean does trust, because otherwise this plan B is never going to happen. Because ultimately a plan B needs to be trusted. It needs to be a trusted plan B, an accountable plan B, a plan B that he knows he can go to and rely on. And there isn't one at the moment. There isn't one.
I mean,
go on.
I mean, could you imagine getting to 4:30 tomorrow and seeing Sanson starting? It would just absolutely, it would knock me off my chair. It would, because what's that guy got to do to start? Because like you say, everyone in that midfield, there's no shirt that's securing that midfield for me anymore. So why is Sanson the only player that's not been given a chuck in there?
Well, there is one, Drew, and it's McGinn, because Dean knows that every game that McGinn plays, you'll get a workforce with McGinn that you won't get from anybody else. And yes, he might not be performing as well. He might not be making those runs, and that tenacity might have disappeared slightly. But he's a balls to the floor type of player. He's always running, and for me, he is the only guarantee. That's why he has never not started a game.
Do you think he's recovered properly from his leg break then?
No, mate, you give me 65 grand a week and I run around a flaming field. It's got to be quality, mate, I'm afraid. And those floaty balls Wednesday were proper wind me up from John McGinn.
Mate, give me 6 grand and I'll do it for you.
Well, I'll tell you what, give me the shirt, you just do it, won't you?
Yeah.
Imagine.
I'll do it for a pair of boots, me. No.
Yeah.
You've got 2 or 3 guys sat on the bench, right, chomping at the bit, and you've got John McGinn running around the field with his head down, playing floaty balls against Sheffield United. Now, as much as I love John McGinn, you've got to take him out.
Yeah.
Because what does that tell you? The likes of Ross Barkley, Douglas Luiz, as a team, what do you think? Hang on a sec. He's kept John McGinn in, but he ain't doing much, is he? But he's took me out.
Why have I been subbed?
Why have I been subbed? And it's all about game management, isn't it?
See, again, and I don't know how true it is, but I'm hearing that Dougie's not really living a proper lifestyle that he should be. I mean, I'm seeing him tweeting at like 3 o'clock in the morning. He's still on Call of Duty. I think he's turned into a boohoo man model. Where's that hunger gone from him? That guy that, he's a fighter. Every time there was a bit of trouble, he was in the mix of it. And it just, I don't know, since the turn of the year, he's just, I don't know if the headlines of him going back to City's got into him. What's your thoughts?
So where his hunger's gone on his belly, because I think he's put about a quarter of a pound on. Quarter of a stone on. Yeah, mate. He's put weight on. Yeah. He doesn't look fit.
No, I don't think like him being mobile has ever been his strength, but he always just seemed to have the knack of being in that position to break the play up. He always just he was always a page ahead of their attack. And I don't know. I just think since the turn of the year, like you say, I think he might have been the catalyst of why our midfield, because he was the security blanket in midfield, and then it was McGinn go and do the running. And
lovely way to describe it, that Drew. He was.
And I think right. I think McGinn and Barkley have actually lost how to play in the same team together, because
Ross and McGinn can't play in the same team.
I just don't know what's happened though, but they did at the start. I mean, you remember some of the games that they played together at the start. I mean, Arsenal, they played together, and that was probably one of our performances of the season.
Yeah, but it's like
beginner's luck though, mate. Beginner's luck, new things happen.
Yeah, it's like you see this wonderful guy coming from Chelsea. You're buzzing to play with him, but then as the games go on and revolve, you think, just not working, is it? It don't work. It just doesn't work.
But I mean, mentally for me, Barkley must be thinking, if this don't work at Villa, where do I go? He'll be at Fulham next season if you're not careful.
Well, yeah.
I mean, he's got a perfect. I mean, no disrespect to Fulham either, because I do actually like the club. I think they've got a good. I think I like the way that they kind of go about the business. But I do think that with Barkley, he's a sort of player that goes, right, Jack's out, I'm the main man now, but he hasn't done it. No. I'm not. It takes me weeks to turn coat on Villa players, and I was probably the last person that turned on Drinkwater. Although in the end, I just couldn't do it anymore. But with Barkley, I just think why aren't you taking the game by this? You're literally so talented. You're fit, you're tall, you're big, you're strong. You've got everything that it takes to be in that position, but he just doesn't seem to be taken by the scruff of the neck.
He'd rather plays ball sideways than forward. And as a number 10, that's not good enough.
But we've got two like that. JJ is the safest player I've ever seen in my life.
I could upset a lot of Villa fans about JJ. Yeah, he's a 19-year-old. He's a Villa fan. But come on. You're a number 10. Stop playing the safe balls. You've got to play the balls forward. He plays the balls sideways and backwards. And I know he's only a kid, but we're evolving into a top 6 team. We've got to be playing zipping balls forward.
Yeah. I mean, you look around that sort of 23s team, and I'm immensely excited about people like Chooks, Jaden, who's just sort of signed again. Those sort of players, but they need they can't just go from 23s to our they're not Phil Foden. They need to go and do what Jack did and go and get booted every week at Notts County. JJ's done that to a certain degree at Doncaster, was it last season? But I don't know, he's kind of come back and he needs that arrogance of going, I don't care if I give the ball away. In the cup games where he was playing with sort of the second string and he was putting balls in behind, I thought, okay, you look comfortable. But when it's the first 11, he just looks like he's scared to give the ball away. And as a number 10, it's a percentage game. You've got to be risky. You've got to be able to try and unlock. And at the minute, I just don't see that he's got that.
I think it's just the wrong game for him on Wednesday, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think for me, just to summarise that whole kind of point that you're making there, Drew, is that I felt strongly that in the summer we already had a number 10, and that was our skipper. For me, Jack is the perfect number 10. Give him that free roam, give him that freelance role behind the top man, wherever he wants to go in that final third. Give him that role. But for some reason, he's just been stuck out on the left wing. And whether Jack likes that or not, I'm not so sure. But he's doing well there because Jack's a quality player and quality players adapt and they're flexible. But I honestly believe that he's a far better 10 than Barkley is.
Yeah. Aaron, what numbers Jack Grealish got on his shirt?
Exactly right.
But again, I think we had phases of last season where he was outstanding on the left, then got found out, so we had to come back to 10. If you give him that 10 role, or put 3 players in there of Tammy, Jack, and Watkins, who will just keep doing that across, and you can't mark them. But at the minute, he's so on the left that you saw it against West Ham. They just put 2 players against him. Brighton, 2 players against him. He didn't kick the ball.
That's how we should look. Top man, Jack, going wherever he wants to go.
Yeah,
but Jack's not coming back anytime soon. So it's about, again, I keep saying it's about the here and now, and we've got to sort this win one, lose one, and it's got to start tomorrow for me. Okay, but I can't see it.
Question then. So in the summer, are we thinking that we need to bring in proper left and right forward, or are we bringing in a striker in Tammy to put Watkins right and another left forward and putting Jack as your number 10, or is Jack going to stay out wide left and complement him with someone on the right? What's your thoughts for the summer?
Well, he's going to have to bring a striker in. I mean, you bring a striker in straight away, you've got a bit of a plan B, haven't you? Because you can move Watkins either left or right.
Yeah.
It's Tammy for me. Do I think Tammy's going to join? No.
Okay.
But he's going somewhere, Tammy is, because he wasn't even on the bench last night again, was he?
Nah, and he's refused his contract. I personally think he will come. I really do.
Mate, there's a big stumbling block here. There's a big stumbling block, and it's what I said to you off camera. And T will vouch for this. It's wages and salary, mate. That's a big thing. We're moving forward as a club, no doubt. But no one is going to come into the club and earn what Jack's earning yet. Yeah. Not a chance.
On that basis, then I think he will be in claret and blue, but it could be West Ham.
I think it could be West Ham.
Yeah. Which will be a damn shame because I think he can make a difference to us.
Yeah. Okay, right. Well, yeah, we've had ups, downs, and everything else in the.
Come on, you hammers! No, I'm joking.
But we're doing a bit of a poll actually of everyone we're having on. Final question for you both: Messi or Ronaldo? Ronaldo. Great, nice and easy. I mean, I'm always. Undoubtedly, I think Messi's the most talented player.
And do you know why? Drew? Ronaldo has shown that he can thrive in the most successful and most incredible league in the world, and that's the Premier League. And he did that for a lot of years. Messi's never been trial and tested.
Yeah,
So
and he hasn't done it on the international stage either, whereas Ronaldo has.
Correct.
Yeah,
Ronaldo's ripped it up.
Perfect. Lads, I've loved it. I could cry as well to hear about some of the Villa stuff at the minute, but honestly, I really appreciate you both coming on. And let's hope for some good luck tomorrow. Cheers, lads.
Yeah, absolutely.
See you later.
Cheers,
Ta-da,
see you.
man.
Take
Ta-da,
care, guys.
bye. Bye.